life, luck, and feng shui. 4th, accumulate good deeds. 5th, study. This sentence, it reveals the ancients' views on fate and life, especially the importance of accumulating good deeds. Building bridges and roads was regarded as the best deeds. Few people know that. In the ancient bridge building history, there was an agreement called Da Sao Shuangzhuang. According to legend, it originated from Lu Ban's banishing technique. When the ancients built bridges and roads, they suffered from collapses and casualties, so they believed that the earth gen breaking disturbed the gods, so they sacrificed a living person to appease. But in my opinion, this was not Lu Ban's original intention. Lu Ban created the Yansheng technique to protect carpenters, to retaliate against unscrupulous employers, but using living people as sacrifices. It was clearly the unscrupulous sorcerers who used feng shui and seek personal gain. A bridge is called a dragon locking stake in feng shui, and rivers are dragons. Building a bridge is like shackling the dragon, so the project often has strange things. The piers sink, cannot be connected, and even casualties. People say it is angering the Dragon King, and the bridge must be filled with life. The evil practice of hitting a living stake was born. In ancient times, the construction of Rushengzhuang needed to find a pair of boys and girls. The boy was buried at the bridge's head pier, and the girl buried at the end of the bridge. After the bridge was built, they became the guardians of the bridge. In modern times, the rules were relaxed. If no children were found, they would use homeless people instead. The living person was pushed into the cement pier and let them disappear, and no one cared. Besides the living piles, there is a more sinister soul Jian stealing stake. When building small bridges, if they encounter difficulties, the construction team would set up a red plaque to worship. If a passerby answers or looks back, the soul will be trapped by the bridge, and the person will die soon. These evil arts sound absurd, but not only in ancient times. In modern times, there are rumors that Chen Jitang used the method to build Zhuhai Bridge, but an experience I had when I was young made me terrified of these rumors. In junior high school, due to family reasons, I went to a northern town to live with my uncle. There was an artificial river. There was an old stone bridge built in the early 50s. The bridge deck is not wide, but unusually sturdy. All the old bridges in Tang River were washed away, only it remained stable. But this bridge was always shrouded in ghost rumors. After school in summer, we always went to the river to catch fish and crabs. There are many stones under the bridge, which is a good place to catch crabs. Until one day, Simone found a large number of clay figurines. They were as big as kittens, wearing shrouds and filial piety. Some were carrying clay coffins, and some holding swords and finding flags. They were lifelike. This incident caused a stir in the village. Adults searched everywhere for the origin of the clay figures, but found nothing. A few days later, the clay figurines disappeared out of thin air. My uncle said, it might be related to the legend of the mouse's wedding. There is a conspicuous stone in the middle of the bridge. There were continuous strange things about it. A female teacher of the school returned to school on Sunday and passed by the stone bridge at night. She said her shadow suddenly disappeared. A few days later, the teacher died unexpectedly. People in town said her shadow was sealed by the stone. Without her soul, she died. Another time, there was a flood. A coffin was washed downstream. The aquatic plants and debris were all washed away. Only the coffin was circling at the bottom of the bridge and refused to leave for a long time. No one dared to approach. Finally, an old couple fished the coffin out. Their son was unfilial. They were afraid of not having a coffin after death, so they thought whoever died first would use the coffin. But that night, the old lady threw herself into the river after a quarrel. Strange things happened one after another. What is even more bizarre is a female classmate in school. She always ran to the stone bridge and stayed there for an afternoon. Her classmates said she was making friends with ghosts. Her parents were worried, so they found a witch to see. The witch said she was haunted by something dirty, but they didn't know what was haunting her. Some said it was the old lady who threw herself into the river. Some said it was a female teacher whose shadow was sealed. Some said she had run into a mouse wedding. But the female classmate insisted that it was a little girl who was haunting him, and even named the little girl, the name, address, and parents of the girl. When she said that, the elderly in the village instantly changed their faces. An old man was in tears, under everyone's questioning, finally revealing a long buried past. In the 50s, the town was just a village. coinciding with the 3-year natural disasters. People starved to death in the village. The government decided to send grain for relief, but the premise was that the village had to build a bridge for transportation. But the process of building the bridge was very difficult. The pier stone foundation collapsed inexplicably shortly after. Several locations were changed, but it was still the same. Only the original place was the most time and effort saving. Seeing more and more people starve to death, everyone was anxious. Samona suggested finding a master to take a look. A wandering magician was invited. He wandered around the river for several days. He said that although the river was man-made, but a little dragon, building the bridge is to shackle the dragon. The Dragon King was angry, so the bridge could not be built. To build the bridge, a living person must be sacrificed. Sacrifice a living person, and let the ghosts guard the bridge. This scared everyone. It is terrifying to fill piers with people, but seeing the people in the village starving to death, the opposition gradually weakened. Samona suggested that the starving people volunteer to sacrifice. The village would treat their descendants well, but no one was willing to be buried in the pier. There was a wealthy family in the village. The couple were kind-hearted. They have 2 sons and 2 daughters, and their wife was pregnant with the 5th child. During the famine, they helped countless villagers. They were the saviors of the whole village. But there was a lazy and gluttonous man in the village. He received their help, but bit the hand that fed him. He thought the rich family gave them coarse grains, while he ate meat, and felt resentment. Lizzie heard that the family who buried could enjoy all the benefits of the village, and became malicious, and secretly kidnapped the rich man's little daughter. He didn't ask for money. Instead, he took advantage of the night and buried the little girl alive in the pier foundation. The next morning, the villagers were pleasantly surprised to find several large piers stood firmly in the river. No one asked who was buried in the piers. Everyone was staring at the bridge that was about to be completed. Only seeing the hope of relief food, they forgot who saved their lives in the famine. They only regarded Lai as a hero who saved the village. Later, the village kept its promise. Lai's family was treated with special privileges. He even became the village chief in a neighboring village. The rich family spent all their money and went to Beijing to complain, and never heard from him again. Since the little girl was buried in the pier, the river was smooth when building the bridge, and there were no more collapses. As time passed, the villagers gradually moved away, and the remaining people all avoided the old stone bridge. The past gradually faded away. After the old man finished, everyone sighed. The shaman performed a ritual under the stone bridge, saying that she had sent the little girl's soul away. The female classmate gradually returned to normal, but she would occasionally sit by the bridge. In the 3rd year of junior high school, I went back to my hometown in Shandong. When I went to my aunt's house in high school, the town had changed a lot. The school had expanded and I couldn't recognize it. The old stone bridge was also demolished. My aunt said that the year after I left, a government official from Beijing came, who said he wanted to build the town when the bridge was demolished. The construction team found a little girl's skeleton. Finally, the bones were taken away by the official and buried properly. The old stone bridge was gone. The past about the beating of the living pile also finally came to an end with the girl's burial completely settled.